Sweep the league, TV, where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch of Brady's last play. We bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Coach Gio and Marie calling the shots. With Derek Curvin, straight Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on till your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. With the League TV, where greatness resides. From the pods at the drive, till my heart's on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. By fans, it's the show you'll adore.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Apologize for that. Apparently, copyright has to do with, us wanting to pay a tribute to Steve McMichael, Mongo McMichael, who passed away today. And I guess, YouTube has a problem with that, with us paying a tribute because there's a simple, I guess, little music in the background. So they decided to suspend our first video. But you know what? Hey, they control everything. So who gives a rat's ass, right? They just want to pound everything down and make everybody basically bow down to them because you can't pay tribute to one of the NFL legends here that passed away today. So apologies for those of y'all that were on the show earlier and it got suspended. Who cares? We're back now. But yeah, that's my little rant on YouTube. YouTube can basically kiss my what, but oh well, who gives a crap? We were trying to pay tribute to Steve Mongo McMichael, who passed away today from ALS. And Gio, give me your thoughts on Mongo McMichael passing, because apparently, YouTube didn't want anyone to hear your tribute and your talk about Mongo McMichael.
Well, Rudy, before I was rudely interrupted by YouTube. No, but
by YouTube, just say it. Screw
tough
them.
loss today in the NFL world. And already I believe he was inducted last 2024, right, to the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been inducted just by looking at his stats alone, part of the all decades team. Rudy, he's made five of all pros. I mean, Rudy, to me, if you're in, you should be in. Like, why are we waiting, make people wait so long? And he couldn't even attend, Rudy, because of his ALS. The NFL needs to stop doing that and come up with a better plan. But no, he was truly be missed. I mean, listen, when you play in Chicago, Rudy, and you're part of that group of guys who won a Super Bowl, I believe, you're going to be embedded in that city forever. So a tough loss for the city of Chicago as well.
Yeah, I got a quick message on YouTube comment saying, don't play the Mongo video again. I'm not playing the Mongo video again. Like I said before, apparently they don't like us paying tribute to people. So we won't do that anymore. But no, you're right. 85 Bears team, the Monsters of the Midway. If I'm not mistaken, that entire team, that entire defense made the NFL Hall of Fame as a group, right? A collective group? Or am I wrong on that?
I don't know. Really, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in as a group. Not sure if that's the case, but he should have been really in a long time ago. Like I said, he's part of the all decades team.
Yeah.
And played for the Bears for over 10 years. Was even a head coach as well in a different type of football league. So really the stats are there. I just don't even it's tough that he didn't get to live his moment. The NFL do better. Get guys in sooner, man. Seriously.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Joel Clone says, we are back. Yeah, we are. Jacob Eric of Grading the Market says, let's get it. Also, that was odd getting flagged over that. Weird. I mean, again, I understand copyright. I'm not playing Metallica's one. I'm not doing the whole Napster or LimeWire like they used to do back in the day. We weren't doing anything like that. We're paying tribute to Steve Mongo McMichael, who passed away today. And I guess YouTube got ass hurt over it. So we won't play the tribute again. We started over. Gio's giving your thoughts here. Now, Mongo McMichael going in. He did see, he was alive to see his bust. Obviously, it was at his home. He was surrounded by a lot of his teammates. when they revealed the bust. I mean, he was, I know, crying inside, and I mean the emotions there. But you are 100% right, man. The NFL, you know what, Hall of Fame in general. I know you and I talk a lot about the NFL and the NBA, how everybody gets in, or the Basketball Hall of Fame. MLB so hard that they won't allow, greats of the game into the MLB Hall of Fame. At what point I mean, everything else is watered down, Gio. Everything's watered down. Today's sports are pretty much watered down. So why not let us have our moment in the sun and watch the greats of the game that you and I grew up on watching finally get recognized? I mean, the Mongo thing was horrible, man. You think it's time to just, we've loosened up the chain, the strings on everything. Why not loosen up the strings when it comes to Hall of Fames?
I mean, look, we see a lot of sports, a lot of people get in. Snoop Dogg's in the WWE Hall of Fame, as I mentioned, I think yesterday. But I'm fine with it being strict already. But at some point, you got to let guys in who clearly have the resume of getting in. Rudy, if you're part of the all-decade team, you should be in the Hall. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, Rudy, but if you're part of an all-decade team, you should be in. You should be in the Hall of Fame, no questions asked. And for this guy to not be and have to wait so long, it doesn't make any sense to me. NFL do better. That should, Rudy, I mean, if you're part of the all-decades team, shouldn't you automatically get in? I mean,
would think. I mean,
if you're one of the best players in your decade, like for instance, Rudy, Aaron Donald, right? He probably made 2 all-decade teams potentially, kind of overlapped. Aaron's going to get in. I mean, he's an automatic. I mean, if Eli Manning, and you know how I feel about Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame, we could talk about that another day. But if Eli's on the all-decade team, Eli should get in. If you made an all-decade team, Rudy, you should be in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, I find it hard to believe you're voted one of the best players of your decade, which is 10 years. Now, obviously, maybe you didn't play the entire 10 years, but if you played most of that, Rudy, you should be in.
I agree 100%. The question is, now it's like, when are you a Hall of Fame worthy player? A lot of these players are Hall of Fame worthy. The question that we always have to ask ourselves is, would you wait the 5 years so you can get in? But then you got to wait another 5, another 10, another 15 before you get in. That, to me, that's the BS. I think Mongo should have been in, well after his playing days. As a matter of fact, I mean, like Joel said, I mean, he was a part of WCW for a while there, continuing on, with a wrestling career. And he used to carry a tiny chihuahua at the time when he was a commentator. That loved him when he was a commentator. And plus, his manager was Deborah McMichael, who, is Steve Austin's wife now. But Mongo should have gotten in early 2000s. I mean, that, to me, that was the time to put him in there. I think Singletary was already in. I think Richard Dent went in as well. I mean, there was no reason for him to wait there. Now, lucky enough, Gio, you mentioned it, and I said it a little while ago. Luckily, he was able to see his bust. He was able to see himself go into the Hall of Fame. Didn't quite get to Canton, obviously, but, he did make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So shout out to Steve Mongo McMichael. What do you got, man?
Rudy, have you been to the NFL Hall of Fame? I know you lived in Ohio. Did you ever make the trip?
I never made it, sadly. Never made it. I want to go. I do want to go eventually. But
I live right next door to Ohio, so I think it only makes sense for me to make eventually, maybe during Hall of Fame weekend, to the Hall of Fame.
You don't plan on leaving, where you're at anytime soon, I don't think. But if you don't, and Aaron gets into the Hall of Fame, you think you would make that?
Yeah.
I'm
here now. Rudy's track record knows me. I seem to be moving all over the place these days, so I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. When I first met Rudy, I was living in Florida. So
you've lived in Florida, Chicago,
Carolina as well,
Carolina, and then Indianapolis. So since we've known each other, you are truly the nomad of Sweep the League. I mean,
Well, Rudy, listen, you only live once, and it's good to move around, see different places, and kind of experience. But yeah, shout out to Michael. He got in. Rest in peace. And as I said, Rudy, when you play for the Bears, you're in that lore, man. You're in that kind of they truly love football, even though they've been losing quite a
well,
bit.
yeah, you're in that lore, and I mean, especially if you played for, the '85 Bears. I mean, where does it go down as the defense ranking wise? I've heard number one. I won't argue that. I mean, you've always got Minnesota's purple people eaters. You've got the Doomsday Defense. You've got the Steel Curtain. But
you got whatever defense Lawrence Taylor was on.
Well, you got Lawrence Taylor by himself. Put it that way. Where would you rank the Bears 85?
That's tough, Rudy. Those Ravens, they had something there, Rudy.
Yeah.
It was something special, and the Bears. I'm going to give the air to the Chicago Bears, Rudy. What they did during that time. Now, obviously, look, defense wins championships, and that's kind of the cliche. And at that time, Rudy, you still had really good teams. I mean, look, for what it's worth, also in defense of the Ravens, well, not necessarily defense, but the Ravens played the Giants in the Super Bowl, Rudy, and that was what, one Collins at quarterback.
Yeah, was it Collins? No, it was Trent Dilfer.
No. Who the Ravens played in the Super Bowl?
Oh, for the Giants,
Kerry Collins.
Was it Kerry Collins? It wasn't Eli, was it?
No.
Golly, okay, I'll give you that.
And then the Bears, they played the New England Patriots, who, by the way, had a pretty good run, Rudy. But the Bears were the Bears, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they beat the Dolphins in the championship game that season to get
the 85
to the Super Bowl.
Bears. I thought it was the Patriots.
No. The Patriots beat.
Yeah,
I believe Dan Marino, which that's the Super Bowl people probably wanted was Dan. But during the 80s, the AFC was absolutely terrible. Some of those losses the Broncos had, I mean, Rudy, poor Dan Reeves, Rudy.
Wow.
They had some really good teams. Jesus.
I know a little bit about Dan Reeves, considering he was a head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, and success. They couldn't, didn't really bring anything to Atlanta as like.
Well, hey, Rudy, you guys beat potentially an all-time. If the Vikings get to the Super Bowl, Rudy, do you think they beat the Broncos?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the Broncos had anybody to stop Moss and Carter on the outsides.
And obviously, Terrell Davis is kind of flying high. But I think the Vikings had John Randall at defensive tackle, which is one of the greats of all time. That would have been a really good game, I think.
And who was that other guy that they had at the time?
Who?
I can't remember his name offhand. He always wore the bandana. He went around to a few other teams, man. God, it'll hit me here in just a little bit. But the Vikings defense wasn't bad that year, man. It was not bad at all that year. Now, can you remember the quarterback of the New England Patriots in '85 when they played the Bears? I always thought it was Steve Grogan, but it wasn't.
Who was it?
From what I'm looking at, Tony Eason.
Okay, yes.
But I think Grogan played, if I'm not mistaken. Tony Eason was the starter. But I want to say Steve Grogan, but it was either Grogan or Tony Eason, if I remember.
Rudy, it didn't matter if it was Joe Namath. the Bears were going to win that game.
that Bears defense
And
was
no shade
yeah,
to Joe Namath, but yeah, Rudy,
oh,
that
all the
was
shit you want. Who cares?
a special defense. And then Tampa's defense too, right? Rudy, they went on that run,
Yeah.
go on the road. I remember that pick six that Donovan threw. I think it was Rondé Barber or somebody in the secondary. But yeah, 85 Bears, probably that team. And Rudy, if I'm not mistaken, the Bears beat the Los Angeles Rams and Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, I think it was the Rams at that time.
And the Rams had to go on the road to Chicago. If the Rams win that game, possible Eric Dickerson gets a Super Bowl and beats the New England Patriots, which ironically, Rudy, would mean that the Rams and Patriots would have met 3 times in the Super Bowl, which would have been kind of weird. But
how many of those would the Rams have won, though?
If the Rams would have won,
I mean, if they would have won the first one, because it would have been Rams Patriots.
Yeah, they would have won probably one.
Okay. I'll give you that. Joel Collins, he's confirming Kerry Collins was that quarterback for the Giants at the time. He's also saying that the 85 AFC Championship game was probably the last time my Pats won in Miami. What a house of horror that place was for us. Yeah. I keep forgetting Joel's a Patriots fan, man. So he could have easily said it was either Tony Eason. I just remember Steve Grogan, like, as, the off guy the Patriots had at quarterback. So it is what it is, man. Shout out to Steve McMichael again, passing away today of ALS. Got into the Hall of Fame back in 2024. I'm just glad that he was able to get in. So we're sending out prayers, of course, to McMichael and his family here from Sweep the League, man. One thing we've got tomorrow, Gio, is you start the building process of building the teams. You and I, back in the day, we used to do a certain draft day thing. And this year, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do it. I won't be able to get everything ready. I'm caught up on work and stuff like that. So there's other great podcasts out there. One of them, Aaron B of Tacos and Touchdowns and Tacos podcast. He's going to be doing a live first round NFL coverage for you guys. So be sure to give him some love and take a look over there, because he does a great job. But hopefully next year, Gio and I will get back into the swing of things for draft night. But you start building the teams tomorrow. What's the other part about building? Well, MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. They are the best in the business. They will build your dreams no matter what, no matter how big, no matter how small, no matter what it is. MCS General Contracting, Lay on the Boys, are proud sponsors of Sweep the League and I'm Refocused Radio. Call them today to make your dreams come true. MCS General Contracting. Caught some more comments. It was Tony Eason. Grogan was not on the team anymore, so he was a reserve third string. I don't know why Steve Grogan always just, when people talk about old Patriots, I just remember Steve Grogan all the time. Draft night tomorrow. I may go out downtown. Speaking of draft, Gio. Okay. A lot of stuff happening. I've got videos to play. Hopefully they don't cancel me, so I may not play a lot of them here, but they have no music, by the way, but it is what it is. Number 1 pick, barring anything crazy, safe to say that Cam Ward will be a Titan.
Mr. Miami and also Washington State. Did he go to Incarnate Word, Rudy?
Yes, he did. San Antonio.
So
sure did.
How about San Antonio, right? And Rudy, that's what it's looking like. Al Davis isn't here, right? So there's going to be no moving up for a wide receiver because he loves speed. There's going to be no craziness happening. Cam Ward goes number 1. Rudy, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. This is a franchise that they've missed, right? Will Levis, who, by the way, had all those commercials last year, Rudy. I don't know if you remember, but he was doing some strange things. He got I don't think the water boy hurt, or he was just all over the place. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And then they traded the kid away from Green Bay, who was the guy from Liberty. Remember him?
Malik Willis. Yeah.
Who, by the way, looked pretty good when he stepped in Green Bay. But yeah, Rudy, he's gonna be the number one.
I think so too. I'm barring this. Now, we bring up Cam Ward and we bring up the Titans because, again, I've got videos. I'm not going to play them right now. I don't want to get canceled right now again, so we'll say that. But there's a rumor out there. There's a lot of rumors, and I'm going to get to these rumors, and I'm going to share these rumors with you here. One of the rumors is around surrounding Brock Purdy, and there's speculation that San Francisco has contacted Tennessee because money's not making sense. Right now, Brock Purdy is not getting the contract that he wants. So there's speculation that San Francisco is in contact with Tennessee to move Brock Purdy to Tennessee in exchange for that number one pick. First thoughts on that. Again, speculation, but not only to Tennessee, but do you think Brock Purdy has a chance to be moved on draft night, being this is maybe the first time you're hearing this?
Well, as a Rams fan, I wouldn't be happy. That's for sure. Because there's a new quarterback in town, and Cam Gibbs. I think Cam has a higher upside than Brock. We know what we're getting from Brock Purdy, and he's a good quarterback. Could it work in Tennessee, Rudy? Listen, every quarterback needs a running game. Yeah. They got some receivers. They got Calvin, and then they got that other kid. I forget his long name. On the back. No. There's a guy who actually played pretty well last year. They got some pieces floating around in Tennessee. Can they kind of bring it together? Can Brock lead the way? It's possible, Rudy, with the right coaching. Because remember, in football, it's really about coaching.
No, it really is.
It's real about X's and O's and how you put your players in the best spot. Of course, you need good players. Brock will be interesting in Tennessee. For the 49ers, Rudy, that kind of means you're starting from scratch in a sense because Cam's not going to be blazing. Though, listen, Shanahan's a good play caller. He puts guys in proper spots, and you don't need to do a lot of crazy stuff. It's possible. But the 49ers, are you going to keep trading, Rudy, and then missing out on trades and hope something gets?
You're trying to get quarterbacks. They don't have a very good, history of drafting quarterbacks right now. I mean, Trey Lance, bye. Brock Purdy's been great, for being, like Joel said, being the last pick of the draft. I mean, he's been great, but now you're talking about having to pay him. Right now, he's winning in the ballpark of like $45 million a year, and I don't think San Francisco wants to pay that right now.
He got you to a Super Bowl. He got you to a championship game. He got hurt. I mean, what more do you want from him? And then last season, you didn't have McCaffrey. There was an injury-plagued season.
Mm-hmm.
Your star receiver went out. Debo's, they're kind of honing in on him. So, really, I don't know. I mean, if you're the 49ers, you can get off of him and get Cam Ward or potentially Shedeur Sanders if that's who they like.
That guy's not going to be a first-round pick. I can already tell you.
Think the world of Shedeur. What he did with Colorado, I give him a lot of Rudy. There's no other tougher difficulty. Go look at Colorado before he got there. Just go look.
I get it.
He turned that program. Now, did they deserve their jerseys to be retired? I don't know if you heard about that. That's a bit of a far fetch. Hunter, okay, he's a Heisman Award winner. I think their only other retiree of jersey is another Heisman. I forgot his name.
Isn't it Kaufman?
I don't remember. It's off the tip of my tongue. Let me see if I can.
I mean, Rasham Salam. That's who it is.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I knew it was a running back. Yeah. I knew it was.
So, look, if they can get Cam, they kind of reset themselves, Rudy, and I think they have a not a Super Bowl team at quarterback, but you could be on to something with Cam. I think Cam has a high ceiling. I mean, Rudy, he'd had no defense last year in Miami. I mean, there were games where it was like 21-21 at the first quarter. I mean, that's how that defense was. Cam, I really hope he goes to a good situation, because that's a lot of times what players need is a good situation, whether you sit a year or two or you're playing right away, a good situation.
It makes a lot of sense for Tennessee to not trade anything, take him. I like the fact that they will take Cam Ward at 1. You've got to rebuild. He's the best quarterback in the draft right now. And outside of that, what's the over under that? I'm going to put the over under 3 quarterbacks go in the first round. Over or under on that? I think it's at 2.5 right now.
I think it's 3. I think somehow, some way, the kid from Ole Miss is that third
no
guy.
doubt about that. Yeah. The Saints are, slobbering over right now over Jackson Dart.
Look, if I'm the Rams, I think you think about Dart if obviously the opportunity presents itself. Now, the Rams are obviously, really, we know, a Super Bowl contender. They need help in other areas. I would love for them to stack on that defensive line after what they did last season, build on that like the Eagles have done. Or they go offensive line. Havenstein, their right tackle, is getting up there in age. And, it's potentially time for a replacement. But I could see 3. I'm going to go with 3.
You got 3. Right now, I've got 2 being drafted in the first round. Shedeur Sanders not being one of those guys right now. But move on to this, man, because this is another one. I'm glad Joel's bringing up rumors, because there's more rumors here, Gio. We're going to get to more draft picks. In fact, we may even come back and do a mock draft of our own here in the first round only at the second part of the show here. But he's mentioning this. There's been speculation that, the Eagles are looking to trade up if they can get into that top 3, top 4 spot. The key team to watch for are the Giants right now, because the Giants have the opportunity, and let's not be sad or anything about it, but the Giants, they don't need a whole lot more to compete. They just need certain positions. Now, this draft from 9 to like the middle of the second round, you're going to get big time starters. There's no doubt about it. This is a very loaded draft. So he's bringing up the fact that, the Eagles could be offering A.J. Brown, who has been mentioned with the Patriots lately in the past couple of months. There's been talk about A.J. Brown wanting to go to the Patriots and all that. Could it be for that 4 spot? Who knows? But the team to watch, Gio, I'm circling it now. I'm telling you now, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are absolutely 100% in on Abdul Carter. So Detroit could be contacting the Giants saying, hey, our first this year, a second or third this year, our first in a couple of years, and maybe another third or fourth, later on down the line. Imagine Carter with the Lions.
Listen, if you're the Giants, why in the heck would you trade with your freaking rival in the division for them to move up and get another defensive player? They do every year, it seems like. If I'm the Giants, they just won a Super Bowl. Why are you trying to help them out? But anyway, the Lions, to me, Rudy, that was a tough playoff loss. All the injuries, pass rush is a need. If I'm the Lions, you take a look. And not to bring up the Rams again, Rudy, but I've been hearing some rumblings. The Rams want a really good tight end. And if they want to do that, they might have to also move up as well. A team that feels like they're right there, Rudy. So watch out for them. But Detroit, Rudy, they were close. But that defense puts to shreds in that game against the Commanders, which we not necessarily didn't see coming, but we thought they was going to give him a good game.
Honestly, look at the Rams, Gio. They're at 26. They may move up here. Another team to watch out for is the Vikings. I think the Vikings might be, they could be moving up or down in this draft. This is a weird draft because there's so much talent, but I don't know if I've ever remember a draft scenario where you're seeing a lot of teams trying to move up or move down. And that's what I'm saying. The Giants could easily come out winners with an additional 2 or 3 picks in this draft if they move down. You've got Wilson, you've got Winston. you're not going to get the best quarterback in the draft at Cam Ward. So if you want to draft a quarterback, come back in the second round, maybe the third round, go get a Quinn Ewers, go get a Kyle McCord, Tyler Shaw. I mean, you can go get a quarterback that you can kind of groom for later. What else do you need? You need offensive line help. They got a ton of offensive linemen in this draft, so you'll be fine there. Defensive help. I mean, Starks is probably going to be there later on in the draft. I mean, there's different guys that are available. The Giants are one of those teams that definitely could be there. Browns at 2. Are you thinking Hunter is the only logical choice for the Browns? Because for me, it is. But again, if I'm Cleveland, I'm taking a lot of these phone calls because I know I can come out with a bunch of picks for it.
It's possible. I mean, I know Hunter probably doesn't want to go to Cleveland.
Nobody wants to go to Cleveland. Jeez.
It's kind of where certain players kind of just die off. You don't hear from them. I mean, you hear from Myles Garrett because of his contract and all that stuff, but it's kind of go where people go to kind of pass away, unfortunately. If I'm the Browns already, you want to sell tickets, you want butts in the seats there. Not though that the fans always come out, but if I'm the Browns, I'll probably stay with that. Though getting more picks, Rudy, the next few years where you know that your quarterback isn't any good, that contract looks worse by the day, Rudy.
It does. At this point, you just kind of, you're talking about Deshaun, right? I'm sure.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Not Joe Flacco, who I think they signed.
No. At this point, you're almost just either trading him away for like a 7th round pick and saying, we'll eat up 40%, 50% of his contract, maybe more. That way you're not on so much dead cap space. But I mean, it's all fully guaranteed if I'm remembering right, that contract. So nobody's going to take it unless you do them a favor and pick up, part of the bill. So yeah, I mean, I think they just go best player available at 2. Obviously, we talked about the Giants. I think 3 is Abdul Carter. Knowing that there's no trades, I've got Abdul Carter 3 at 4 with the Patriots. That's where it gets a little crazy for me. You're talking maybe Will Campbell, offensive lineman right there. I've heard Simmons being, just jumping up everybody's draft board. I think they go offensive lineman. 5 is where it gets really crazy. Why do I feel like the Jaguars are going to say, I'll go get a defensive lineman later? I don't really need Mason Graham right now. What I need is I need to get Trevor some help. Give me Ted McMichael from Arizona to go alongside Brian Thomas Jr. Why do I feel the Jags are going to pull off the first wow in the draft here? What do you got top 5, man?
Well, Rudy, I think the first several picks for the Patriots, Rudy, I tend to gamble during football season, and you kind of tend to watch them odd games when you're doing it, and you watch a good amount of Patriots game. They need to block. They need to be able to block up front. Now, obviously, Rabel's their head coach. Rudy's a defensive guy, so I wouldn't be surprised potentially if a Mason Graham goes here, right? Just, if that spot. But give me Will Campbell. They need protection, and you know what? I like the kid from North Carolina. I thought last year, Rudy, when given time, he can run around, he can make plays. It looked pretty good. So give me Will Campbell. At 5, Rudy, I think a running back might be too early, but they need a running back.
They need it.
Yeah, but I listen, I like Etienne a lot, Rudy, but he's not between the tackles. Let's be real. Give me Genty.
You think they would take Genty at 5? Man, that's crazy.
Give me Genty. Give me a running back to pair with your quarterback. Receivers, I don't love the offensive line, but hey, they need a running game, Rudy, and that could definitely help out because look, last season, can we agree? Boy, oh boy, did they regress. I mean, offense, but Rudy, they got that receiver. What's his name?
Brian
that rookie,
Thomas Jr.
I really like him a lot. They got something brewing, Rudy. You add Genty there, it's gonna look pretty good.
I can
for the
I can see that. I can see that. I just feel like if they go get Ted McMillan, that what they can do is coming around the second round, third round. You're right. Running back would be a key focus there. But then you got guys like Devin Neal out of Kansas. You still have more than likely Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. You've got two guys from Ohio State that are still going to be there, I'm sure, that are more than capable. I mean, Quinshawn Judkins, I love his game. And who knows? Why you can go get a Ted McMillan, trade back into the first, and go get an Amarian Hampton. I mean, if he's still there where you can get him at, that's what I think. I don't know if Gentry's the ultimate weapon in this draft, but knowing the Jaguars have a lot of needs as to where the Raiders right afterwards, I mean, Gentry makes a million sense for the Raiders there.
well, yeah, this is listen. Can we say they had the best tight end last season, Rudy? Many can argue he was the best tight end in the league.
I would say he was the absolute best tight end in the league as a rookie. No, there's no doubt about that. I
So
won't
you
ever argue that.
You pair him up with Gentry. I mean, the Raiders have other issues as well. Some parts of their defense can be much to be desired. Obviously, you're playing Patrick Mahomes, Rudy. But listen, yeah, Pete Carroll there. It's going to be interesting how they set that up. And but I could see Gentry going in those two spots. If I'm Jacksonville, as you said, there's a ton of backs. I get that, but really, the year that kid had, I mean, he kind of a little bit remind me of Todd Gurley. And
That'd be a good one.
When Todd was healthy, really that 2 or 3 year stretch of Todd was pretty remarkable at running back. He was also Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL.
He was, and that's another. It's tough, dude. It's tough because Gentry is all the way from 5'6". I mean, he's not going to go below 6. There's no way. I see him dropping.
I don't see the Jets getting Gentry. They already got kind of two backs.
Yeah, they're fine there.
And they got that big back in Allen who I thought played well. The Jets, I see Jets going offensive line, Rudy.
100%. 100% the Jets. After that, the Panthers, they've got too many needs to go after Gentry. I mean, the Panthers just have way too many needs. And they can go offensive line. They can go defensive line. They can go, more than likely, I think they probably end up going, what do you think? Maybe corner, like secondary. We may see our first secondary go off there. Maybe Will Johnson from Michigan go to Carolina. They just need some help all over the place. New Orleans at 9 is the key. That's another key right there. It's too early to take a quarterback. Even if you're Shedeur Sanders, which you're not a first round quarterback, it's way too early at 9 for them to take a QB. So which way would New Orleans go? They could use defensive help. I mean, they could use offensive line. I mean, do you possibly see them going for broke and say, you know what, Amarian Hampton, we got to replace Alvin Kamara here pretty soon. So you can go Hampton, come right back in. And that's the one team that I feel is going to trade back into the first to get their quarterback towards the end of the first round. I definitely see that. If you're a Saints guy, which way are you going? Because there's so many ways you can go when it comes to New Orleans. Like, they're right there, but they're not quite there yet, is what it is.
Well, Rudy, the question is who's going to be their starting quarterback?
Well, not Derek Carr right now. I mean, I've been on Spencer Rattler, the train for a while.
You've been on it. You're on it by yourself, but you have definitely been on that train. They got needs in several places.
Yeah.
I like it's kind of tough here where they can find the most value. They can definitely trade out, Rudy, if they're like, hey, if someone's going to offer us a lot more draft picks, potentially they move out of it. And then, because really, as you said, this draft's pretty good. I mean, pretty deep.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys you could find, underrated guys in those later rounds. So I'm not sure where they go. Receiver, offensive line. I mean, there's some good linemen in this draft that they'll be able to get.
There's a lot of stuff they can get.
Pick your poison. That's why I'm so excited for the Rams this year. What are they going to do with that first pick? I would love Jalen Walker, but I don't think he's going to be there.
Probably not. Probably not. You know what, Gio? I'm going to tell you what. Let's take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to do a mock draft. You're going to draft for all the odds. I'm going to draft for all the evens. We're going to do a first round mock draft for all you guys out there. Don't go anywhere. Mock draft 1.0 from Sweep the League is coming up here. We're going to do a mock draft on the way back here. And then we'll end the show here as we let you guys get ready for NFL draft tomorrow. Again, if you're just joining us, we were put on copyright notice by YouTube earlier. We are back. So don't worry about that first video. Apparently they don't like Steve Mongo McMichael at YouTube. So because they don't like him, we'll throw a big Stone Cold Steve Austin warm greeting to YouTube here. But for Coach Joe, it's Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be back here with a mock draft. Give us a minute. We'll be back in a few minutes. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy, Derek, and Coach Gio. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. on a Wednesday night pre-draft night here. And shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Lay on the boys, guaranteed to take care of you right the first time, every time. 100% backed by us here at Sweep the League. And what do? They build everything you need, making your dreams come true, making them all realities. And guess what? We are building teams through the draft right now. We're going to do a mock draft for you guys out there. First round only. Didn't plan it, but you know what? Gio and I like to be caught off guard all the time when it comes to this kind of stuff here. So we'll do the first round only mock draft. No trades, obviously. We'll get into more draft talk here in just a little bit. So for those of y'all out there, please, appreciate you guys joining us here for the moment, but we're going to get into some mock draft right now. We're going to build the brand sponsored by MCS General Contracting. You, sir, are on the clock. So you are picking for the odds. I'm picking for the evens. That gives you your Rams pick, I believe, at 26. No, you know what? I'll take the odds in. I want you to pick for your Rams there. So we'll flip-flop it. I'll take the odds. You take the evens in. Because then I think Atlanta's at 15, so that gives me the Atlanta pick. Here we go. First pick of the draft. No doubt about it. As much as I love Abdul Carter, he's going to be the best player in this draft. I got Cam Ward going to the Tennessee Titans. You are up at number 2, sir.
What do the Lonely Browns do? I'm going with Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. No surprises yet. New York Giants on the clock. Of course, this could be one of those trade scenarios here, but I'm going with the best player in the draft, Abdul Carter, edge out of Penn State. Your Patriots, Joel's Patriots. Hopefully you pick good for the Patriots here.
They need offensive line. I'm going with Mr. Will Campbell.
Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. Now we get
that
to
left tackle Rudy for like 10 years. I mean, that's probably what it's looking like.
Well, here we go. Remember we talked about earlier, Jaguars can do less, they can do that. Ultimately, I think once you look at everything, we're going based off of what they need. Their biggest needs on the defensive side, defensive tackle, they will end up going with Mason Graham out of Michigan. Raiders are on the clock at 6.
I'm going Ashton.
Ashton Jeanty, no surprise there. Ashton Jeanty going number 6 to the Los Angeles Raiders, the Jets, Jets, my adopted team. The Jets are on the clock right now. One of the rising guys that's been, really good for a while. It's not Josh Simmons out of Ohio State just yet, even though he is moving very far up the draft rankings right now. They're going to end up going with Armand Membu out of Missouri, offensive tackle for the Jets. Carolina Panthers on the clock.
This is a tough one. I'm going between two guys right now.
Who are you debating?
I'm debating Jalen Walker and Walter Nolan. I actually like these two guys.
Walter Nolan's a really good one.
I'm gonna go with Walker here. I think this is a defense, Rudy, one of the worst in the league. Give over 30 points. I think it makes it now that they need help in a lot of other areas as well.
Yeah.
But give me Mr. Jalen Walker, Rudy. Every time I looked up, the guy was literally everywhere. Go look at that Texas game. That guy is everywhere. Give me Jalen Walker.
I agree. Now, going to the New Orleans Saints here. This is where, they're talking about quarterbacks. Everybody, Shador. No. Jackson Dart's the guy that they want. He's not a number 9. He's not a top 10 pick. So you're not going to waste a top 10 pick here. What do? You have Olave. You've got needs. You've got the offensive line. There's a lot of good offensive line players you can get later. But because he's available, they go out and get Ted McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona, to give them another weapon for New Orleans. That's who I've got them taking out. Rounding the top 10, you've got the Bears, Gio. Your boy, Caleb Williams. I think this can only go one way, right?
Offense. I think Bears go offensive line here in this spot.
I can show you the offensive lines. You want to see tackles, guards?
Yeah, look at tackles here at this spot.
Okay.
I mean, it just makes sense. Calvin Banks from Texas.
Going with Calvin Banks for the Bears. Number 11 is the San Francisco 49ers. And you mentioned the boy earlier. I figured he would be there. Going up the draft boards, man, Walter Nolan. He's going to be a Niner when it's all said and done. They're taking Walter Nolan at 11. You get the draft for America's team, a team that you love, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you have the Cowboys taking here?
Rudy, I'm going with an offensive player. Give me tight end Tyler Warren here in this spot.
Tyler Warren. That's not a shock, but it's kind of a shock for me. I would have expected something totally different right there for the Cowboys.
I thought maybe a receiver, Rudy, but let's switch it up a little bit. They need help at receiver as well, but give me Tyler Warren, the best tight end in the draft. Rudy, we saw what happened last year. Maybe Lightning can strike twice and have another similar season. Dak Prescott comes back. We'll see.
There you go. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. You are the Mel Kiper, and you're way better than Mel Kiper when it comes to the NFL draft. All they got to do is go watch the old draft shows we used to do on draft night, and then you picked pretty much every player that was coming out. You already knew ahead of time. 13 Dolphins. They need help all over the place, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Best defensive player available right now, Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. That's who I've got the Dolphins taking. You are at number 14. This is where I expected Tyler Warren to go, to Indianapolis, but he went to Dallas on your mock part. What do you have the Colts doing right here?
You know what? Give me Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, AR-15 or whatever they're calling him. I don't know what he is.
They got Pittman. They got receivers already, but I really he could be a big time game changer for them.
Definitely. The Atlanta Falcons are on the clock right now, and I like me Shamar Stewart on the defensive side of the ball, but something tells me that this guy's going up and up and up and up and up, and it's going to help them a whole lot. Give me Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. I'm loving Mike Green right now for the Falcons. Cardinals at 16, Gio.
I'm going to go with another Georgia. Mekhi Williams.
That's exactly who I was thinking you would go right there, man.
You know, they got, was it Darius Robinson last year, Rudy, that they drafted?
Chops.
You pair them up. I actually like this kind of duel there. They got something brewing in Arizona. You know, we saw McBride, Rudy, last season at tight end, play very well. They got something there. I know Kyler's still playing Call of Duty a lot, but I think something's there.
Yeah, I think something is there definitely with them. Speaking of the next pick, the Bengals, man, it's kind of crazy, right? The Bengals need a whole lot of help, like everywhere, and it's all primarily defense is what they need help on. And I like Shamar Stewart out of A&M. I think he's going to be a really good player. Do you go defensive line? Do you go cornerback? I'll give you prospect. There's one guy on here that I really like out of Texas, and that's cornerback Jahdae Barron. I think they go and get some secondary help. You got to get some secondary help when it comes to the NFL, especially, you're going to probably be playing against Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, AFC. Go get, Jahdae Barron out of Texas. Seattle's on the clock, Gio.
Boo! Those pesky Seahawks. They offensive line seems to always be an issue there. Pete Carroll couldn't get that right before he left.
Yeah. You got tackles, you got guards, and you got centers.
Tackles, guards. I'm gonna go though defense, Rudy.
Okay.
They have a particularly defensive minded head coach, and Rudy, I'm gonna go a little different here. Give me Mike Green.
Mike Green's been drafted by the Falcons at 15.
You took my guy. Listen, that kid has upside. He is kind of seems a little smallish, but he can explode. Did you already draft the Texas A&M defensive lineman? Is he?
No, Shamar Stewart is right there.
I'm going to go there because, like I said, Seattle needs help on the offensive line. That's important, but I really do think defense, having a defensive-minded head coach, they may go defense there.
Shamar Stewart off the board at number 18, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. Again, secondary help just seems to be the key here. I have them taking Malachi Starks out of Georgia, giving them, some more help in the secondary. The safety that they need right there. It was either going to be between him or Nick Manwari out of the South Carolina. I've got them taking Malachi Starks. Broncos on the clock, Gio, at number 20.
Trying to think
what an Amari and Hampton move right here.
Can you go to running backs for me, Rudy?
Yes, sir, I can.
They have a glaring weakness. I actually like Henderson at 39, but give me Hampton there for running back. They have a glaring need there. Last year already had kind of like two backs. It just never seemed to get going, even though they made the playoffs. But give me that kind of tandem with the running back and Bo Nix. I have to give you a lot of credit. You were big on the 39-year-old quarterback.
There was a reason why I was big on him.
Well, I
He's
actually
40 years old.
I actually said that he should be good. Really, the man's been in college football so long. He's had so much experience. I thought actually he could be a good quarterback, but you were definitely on that train, for sure.
For every Daniel Jones, I get about 5 or 6 right. So I mean, I have to throw a Daniel Jones in there from time to
That is
time.
going to be your anytime I think of Rudy Daniel Jones, that damn Duke, a damn Duke football player, mind you.
Of all teams, right? A Duke football player. Jesus, that makes me look bad. You got a Marion Hampton going at 20 to the Broncos.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
makes a whole lot of sense. They didn't even run it back up right now.
There you go. So at 21, everything points to Shador Sanders right here. Mike Tomlin's been saying it. He's a fan. He wants Shador. I don't, for mock's sakes, I'm going to have Shador go here, but I don't like the pick. I don't see it happening. I think Tomlin and them could trade back and get some picks for him. I get him later. But at 21, all the talk is there. Just have him take Shador Sanders. I'm just going to get it out of the way. Everything just speaks, of Shador being a Steeler. Chargers at 22.
Go Chargers, go. So, can you look at the receiver spot for me, Rudy?
Yes, sir. Wide receivers. You got Egbuka, Luther Burden, Trey Harris, Jalen Noel.
They need more playmakers. Give me the kid from Ohio State. It could be a little early for him, but
Mecca Egbuka out of wide receiver out of Ohio State. We are doing our first round only NFL mock draft, and Jacob Eric creating the market here just says Chargers need the offensive line.
they do, but they need playmakers, and give me that though. I did like the kid going to the Commanders with the other Ohio State and Terry and what they got Bruno. That would be a really good tandem there. But yeah, I know they need offensive line, but I feel like their receiver room is just kind of boring. I don't know.
No, I think it is kind of boring out there. To be honest with you, I think it is. Green Bay at number 23. I have no doubt about it. This kid, I think he's going to be a great player, and it's kind of fills a need that they need at the edge. I like James Pierce a lot. I know you've seen him from SEC play at Tennessee. Give me James Pierce at 23 for the Green Bay Packers. 24 is the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm thinking Vikings. They need to replace Harrison Smith, Rudy. So give me a. Can you look at the safeties?
Sure.
Is Nick up there?
Yeah, Nick. I'm on worry.
I'm going with Nick here. That defense is actually very interesting because they blitz a whole lot and they got a lot of moving parts. But Harrison, Rudy, how long has that guy been in the league? I swear he's been in the league for a long time, man.
I think we were like in high school when
he's still playing at a high level. He's definitely a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's better be a future Hall of Famer. He has been playing at a high level. He's in Texas on the clock at 25. The Texans need offensive line help. The guy who's just climbing the charts out of Ohio State is Josh Simmons. I think they get Josh Simmons falls right to them here. They're taking him at 25. Your Rams are on the clock. Too bad Tyler Warren's not there. But they do have.
There's another
tight end.
There's another tight end prospect. Can you go there, Rudy?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's out of Michigan, isn't he?
Yep.
Colston Loveland. That's who you're taking for the Rams?
That's who I'm taking. I hope Rams pick defensive linemen. That's what I actually want. But that's what's probably going to happen here.
Colston Loveland, newest member of Geo's Rams for the Rambassador. The Baltimore Ravens are up next. They need some, with them, they need a good amount of, I think, offensive line help. You've got two running backs, basically, and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I think you just got to continue to protect basically Lamar. I actually like Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State here. just a really rugged guy that's going to help the Baltimore Ravens on the offensive line. I've got them taking Greg Zabel. You have the Super Bowl champs coming up, barring injury, Detroit Lions up next.
You know, they need a lot of help. They need defense too. Is Kenneth Grant there, Rudy? The defensive tackle?
Out of Michigan, he's right there.
I'm gonna go. They need a defensive end, but I think they get that somehow somewhere in the draft. But give me Kenneth Grant here, a really big, talented guy. He's big. He's huge.
Yeah, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, he's definitely a big time player here. Detroit takes Kenneth Grant. Gio's taking Kenneth Grant at number 28 for the Lions. 29, the Washington Commanders or the Washington football team or the Washington, go back to what they were called before. Apparently didn't really, piss anybody off. Boston College is the team right here to watch for Washington. I've got them drafting Donovan Izurioka out of Boston College. Edge right here. I think they just continue to build. They continue to get everything that they want, basically. One of the key teams to watch in the NFC this year, the Washington Commanders, take edge. Donovan Izurioka out of Boston College. Buffalo Bills are up next, Gio.
What are the Bills going to do, Rudy? Yeah, they're such a solid team across the board. Go to the running back, Rudy.
Oh,
real quick for me.
Oh, James Cook is not happy, isn't he? I forgot about that.
This is interesting here. Give me the kid from Ohio State, Rudy.
Travion Henderson.
You never have too many running backs. Yeah.
All right. He's taking Travion Henderson there. Kansas City Chiefs, Gio's Super Bowl pick from last year that got blown out of the water by the Philadelphia Eagles. What does Patrick Mahomes need? Does he need offensive guard help?
Yes, he needs everything on the line.
And he's so lucky. It seems like everything falls to Patrick. Big go kid out of Alabama. Tyler Book is right there, and that's where they're going. Offensive guard out of Alabama. You have the luxury of picking for your Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, Gio. What will be the last pick in the first round of the draft here?
Well, the Eagles, Mekhi Becton left, right, Rudy, in free agency. Go to guard. Well, I think it only makes sense. I'm gonna go with Donovan Jackson here. The Eagles just get lucky again.
Eagles get lucky again. There we go. So we've got our full results here. This is going to be our first and only mock draft that we've done here live on Sweep the League. Of course, number one pick. Gio was making the even picks. I was making the odd picks there. That's the way it'll go. I'll go ahead and post this for everybody to see on Twitter. But nonetheless, tomorrow is draft night. It starts tomorrow. Be sure to take a look at some of the guys that are going to be having shows. We're not going to be doing a show tomorrow covering the draft, but we'll provide as much information for you tomorrow as possible. But until then, man, appreciate everybody joining us here tonight on Sweep the League for Derek Irvin, who I talked to, Gio, and he said some interesting things that you and I got to talk about. I'm not going to spill the beans just yet, but let's just say if you have Victor Wembanyama and you have Kristaps Porzingis, who's the better player right now?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you. Who is the better player right now?
Well, I mean,
about pissing out Spurs fans.
Victor's not even I'm taking Victor.
You think Victor's the better player between him and Porzingis right now? I will say this much. Derek would very much disagree with you on that.
I'm pretty sure Derek would. Obviously, one guy is playing and the other guy is not. So
true.
It's hard to gauge, but I Still give me Victor and the what he can do.
Potential victor, but as of right now, I mean, I told him, I said, I think Porzingis actually is the player right now, right this second.
Well, Rudy, I
Basketball
mean,
IQ.
when you're playing with arguably one of the best starting fives in the league,
Yeah.
you got Tatum, you have this. He's the third guy, right? Like, hey,
By
he's
all sense and purposes, yeah.
but Bowser's perfect. He's the third guy. Victor's the guy. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one else on that team. You trade Victor and put him on the Celtics, Rudy. What do you think he's doing?
Still jacking up threes.
Well, yes, that's another problem for another day. But I think if you trade places, I think you would probably say Victor. But hey, I'm not trying to downplay because hey, he's doing his thing as that third guy. Porzingis won Rookie of the Year.
Well, no, and that's the thing. You know, that's why I love talking to Derek about stuff, because he makes you think outside the box. I really do. As of right now, they both put up stats. Victor gets more love, obviously. You know, Porzingis not so much, but I get where Derek's trying to come at, saying who's the better player right now. I mean, right now, yeah. I mean, the separation, Gio, is basketball IQ. Porzingis plays all over the court. He can play inside. He loves playing inside. Goes for boards. He doesn't rely on the jump shot. To where Victor is kind of not one dimensional.
Well,
but he goes towards one side of the basket.
To be fair to Victor, this is how good Victor is. It's only his second year, Rudy.
No, I know. He's going to be fantastic.
And you're comparing a guy who has been in the league for quite some time. So I think Porzingis has a better situation. He's playing obviously right now, so we see him.
Yeah.
And you know, they just went up 2-0 against a team. And I know you're high on the Magic, but still kind of taking, you know, those.
Not this year.
Well, no, I know there was some injuries and stuff like that, but Porzingis is a role player. That's what I'm saying, Joel.
He's a role player.
One guy has, I mean, two of the best players in the league, right? And one other guy, and I'm not going to be disrespectful here, but it's just him and everybody else on that team. So situations do matter, and I agree with Joel here. I mean, I've already made that comment.
I agree with him. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just passing along the word of what Derek said. That's all. You know, so he can actually come back on the show and make everybody listen and make you and I be like, what? I'm just passing along the word. But I appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. Well, hopefully we will try to be on tomorrow. I know it's draft night, so it depends on if we're going to be watching the draft, covering the draft, something like that. We'll keep everybody informed. But if not, I won't be here Friday, Gio. I'm going to a concert. I'm going to Disturbed. And, you know, before we go, dude, real quick, I know you got to go. This is the lineup. There's another band. I think it's Nevermore or something like that. But Disturbed's the headliner. Guess who's opening up for Disturbed?
Creed.
Damn near. Daughtry is opening for Disturbed.
Oh, okay, nice.
You say that. But where in the hell do you get Daughtry and then go right into Disturbed? I mean, it makes zero sense.
Yeah, no, that's that's an interesting mix there.
Yeah, I'm going from, you know, Crimea River to basically drown everybody in the river when it comes to like Daughtry and Disturbed. So we won't be on Friday unless there's another couple of guys that want to sub in on Friday. But for right now, we won't be on Friday. I've got a concert to go to, but we will keep everybody updated on tomorrow. Oh, see, there you go. Friday, you say maybe the guys from Grading the Market will take over on Friday like they have before. So we'll keep everybody posted. But again, for Coach Gio, it's Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep it again tomorrow, shout out to MCS General Contracting. We'll see you there, knuckleheads.
Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne Pinkston, and I have the podcast, The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. You can catch me every Saturday as I air a new show. You can follow me on drpbetterlife.com for all of the links and information.